and welcome to the Wise Hour podcast, where we take life challenges, questions, and stuff and bring solution to them. And today we're gonna have a special guest. Thought about this because this is November, and we are about a week away from one of the holidays that we celebrate, and that's Thanksgiving. So I thought it'd be amazing to bring in an expert to give you a different twist on how to prepare, especially your meats for the holidays. So we're gonna have T from T-Dubb BBQ. He can be dropping 24 karat gold bars. Indeed, y'all know strange to him, but he gonna have something that's gonna definitely, you know what? Get y'all guys to get your notepads out and write. So I want to try this technique. So I ain't gonna hold y'all guys up. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna jump into the show. So let's go.
At the Wise Hour, we break through the night, bringing knowledge fire, so hold on tight. Every episode, a story to unfold. We're turning every minute into gold.
All right. That's my brother right there. What's going on, T-Dubb BBQ? What's going on, brother?
What's happening? How you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Brother, man, since I get a chance to hang out with my homeboy right there, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling the shirt too, man. I'm gonna
Oh
how to get
yeah,
on
appreciate
T-Dubb
it.
BBQ, man. Hey, you hiring? you need a taste tester?
Hey, we always looking for taste testers. Always looking for taste testers.
All right. I'm gonna submit my resume today, man. I'm going online and submit my resume. Man, welcome to the show, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, sir. Last time you here, man, you dropped some 24 karat gold bars. Indeed, man, I heard so much especially about the fish and the recipe how to cure fish, man. I they don't know how many people came up to me, man, and said, man, that was some good information. Man, I learned so much. And so I thought it'd be a great opportunity since the holidays, we're a week away from Thanksgiving, to actually to bring you here and you drop some more 24 karat gold bars dealing with turkeys. So you know what I'm saying? So hey, I ain't gonna hold you up, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it because I know the audience is looking for it. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna talk about this right here. I'll go in segments. So my first segment is we're gonna talk about is the art of turkey smoking basics. Okay, so we're giving the people bases, those beginners. We got some professionals out there, and he can cover those things too. But right now, we're going to drop into some bases. But so before we do that, I want to go ahead and get your personal journey from going from traditional, like roasting or anything like that, to you smoking.
Well, it was just a thought. I'd seen so many people doing it, and my family likes traditional. So I've never had the opportunity to do it for like my family for Thanksgiving. I don't know if we talked about this before, but I became in charge of doing the turkey. One of my aunts, before she passed, she couldn't make it because she was doing some cancer treatments, and she was like she might not be back in time, so she told me to get the turkey, told me how she did the turkey. I completely ignored her recipe and I did it my way. She did make it on time. Everybody complimented me on the turkey. She complimented me on the turkey. She said, it's your job from now on. And she was like, y'all should be cooking the stuff anyway. So I've always been in control of the turkey during Thanksgiving time. And then, matter of fact, this year I said that I'm going to actually smoke a turkey and bring it. Yeah, it's, hey, my family is traditional, but I think they'll like it. I mean, if not, we have other stuff there. So
Okay, well, if you think they'll like it, you know what I'm saying, just I'll be cousin Pete this time. I just be going up in there. I'll be cousin Pete. Just said bring out my plate. Just slide me a couple slices on there. Throw that big leg, throw that big wing on there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's cool though.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's a great way to do it. Besides just roasting it, because traditionally when I roast the turkey, I have like a butter compound that I do, and so it's like herbs and stuff I put in there, and then I put it underneath the skin, put it on the outside of the skin, and make sure I put like celery, onions, bell peppers, and I season the cavity as well. And that's normally, and I cover it up for like the first hour and a half, just depending on how the turkey is, and then I, take it off and let it brown. That's normally how I do it in the oven. But smoking the turkey is different because the thing that you're really worried about is the skin being crisp and also the inside being juicy. So there are several ways to do this. A lot of people would recommend brining. Now you could do your own brine solution. The thing about that is salt is a part of a brine. So when you're brining something, you might want to just rinse it off, or if you don't rinse it off, you want to make sure that you use a seasoning that's not high in sodium. That's very important. Also, you want to make sure that you watch your temperatures. You can slow smoke it, around 275 or whatever, but what's really going to get the skin crisp is that high heat. So you could slow smoke it, and also get you like a meat probe, a meat thermometer, so you can check your temperatures. When you're dealing with something like poultry or anything really where you're afraid of those done temperatures not being quite right, get you a meat thermometer and check, because the recommended safe for the breast of a turkey or chicken is 165. I like to take mine to 170, 172-ish. That's just my preference. Your thigh, your dark meat, pretty much your thigh, your leg, that's about 175-ish. I take mine to 180. So you want to make sure that you don't overcook the breast. And so that's the tricky part, is making sure you maintain that moisture. And brining is really going to get you that moisture. If you brine it, like you brine overnight. And they have brines that you can buy from the store. Get one of those and brine it. And what brining is just a water solution, brining or marinating. If you marinate it into some type of liquid marinade, or even a dry brine is what they call when you season the turkey overnight or whatever, and you put it in the refrigerator overnight, that's a dry brine. That also helps crisp up the skin, because where people fail at with crisping up the skin is they do it while the skin's kind of wet. But the drier the skin is when you put it in there, the crisper the skin is going to be. But you want to make sure that you keep that breast nice and tender. That's the main thing, because a lot of people don't like turkey breast because some people overdo it.
Yes, I have my share of dry turkey breast. I have my share when you go to the gatherings and they just not, just not hit. So you just go for the leg, or you go for go for the leg or the wing.
Yeah.
But I love the way you said that. So with the traditional, like you say, you put stuff on the skin. So when you smoke it, you don't do that. So you do it with the brine.
Yeah, well, the ways I've done it is I've used like a marinade. And so I make sure that I kind of loosen up that skin, and I poke holes in it as well, so the marinade can kind of get in there. Also, you can inject.
Question about the marinade.
Yes.
About the marinade. What type of marinade? Do you make your own, or you use pre-prepared one?
Well, that depends. You can make your own. I have made my own, but I am really on to McCormick's Grill Mates. They make a nice package where you add some of them you add oil and water, some you add oil, water, and vinegar. It just depends. But I really love those. In the last turkey that I did a half turkey, because I've been experimenting. That's something you also want to do. You don't want to just try the turkey the day before and hope that it's all good. You might want to get your practice in now. And so I've been experimenting with different type of rubs and marinades to see, what I kind of like. I did a mesquite one that was really good. I think that might be a little too bold for my family, so I'll just hold off on that one. But when you marinate or you brine, you're really letting the juices get in and get into the meat, and it keeps it flavorful. Because like I said, that turkey breast, when it's dry, people try to stay away from it. You can use some injections The Tony Chachere's has an injection. I've used that years ago. People still talk about it to get today. It comes with a little injector, and you inject it. You don't want to go overboard with the injection. If you're injecting the breast, you just want to hit it in certain spots, and don't poke so many holes in it. Like if you're injecting, you want to inject in one spot underneath the skin and maybe move it around, but don't poke several holes in it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's another way to keep it nice and juicy and tender. Um,
Mm,
it's all type of tricks I've seen people do. The ones personally I do, I like to put butter underneath the skin.
mm-hmm.
That helps it stay juicy as well. If you put some pats of butter and just smooth it out underneath the skin, but make sure you're not over seasoning it. That's why I said about the brine, because the brine is like a water and salt and sugar solution, and then some herbs or whatever. Just depends. But rinse that bird off. Make sure you rinse it off really good if you're going to be using seasonings and stuff, and make sure you go for like a low seasoning. I mean, a low sodium seasoning. They make a lot of really good flavorful seasonings that don't even have salt in them.
Okay.
So just look into doing that. You know, I know some people love Lowry's. I don't like the taste of Lowry's, but look into your herbs like thyme, oregano, rosemary. Just look into some herbs and things that kind of like they call the aromatics to try to bring out the
Mhm.
flavor of the bird.
Awesome, awesome. That's a good man. That's a good tip. I got a question. So they bring me up to this. What's some common misconception about smoking turkeys?
The common misconception is that you need a lot of smoke the whole time. You can over smoke your meats. You just want to
Okay.
make sure you have the right amount of smoke, and you want to. And another common mistake that I've seen people do is that they think that all smoke is good smoke, and it's not.
Ooh,
If you
come on
have
now.
like that thick white smoke, that's what we call dirty smoke.
Ooh.
Now, there are some cases where a little bit of dirty smoke kind of helps. You know, dirty smoke kind of helps and it kind of gives more flavor, but you don't want to run that thing the whole way. What you want is more of a almost clear with a blue tint to it. That's the kind of
Okay.
smoke you want. Um, do not soak your wood if you're using wood. Do not soak your wood. Um,
I heard you supposed to smoke you on some supposed to soak your wood. Sorry.
Some people smoke their wood chips. I personally don't. I think it just kind of gives like a smoldering flavor, but that's my personal preference. If you do smoke, I mean, if you do soak something,
So,
maybe the chips, but don't smoke your chunks.
oh,
I've
okay,
seen
okay,
people
okay,
like smoke the
okay,
chunks and actual logs of wood, and just no, you don't want to do that. You want to let it run, and you want to let it just burn off that first initial smoke. Don't just go ahead and when you throw some wood on there, don't just go ahead and throw your meat in there. If you're doing chips, you're not gonna get a lot of smoke the whole time. So it's cool to put your meat in there. If you just throw some chips on there, that's fine. But if you're doing like chunks, you
mm,
want it to kind of burn off something and get to going. Because when you have, like I said, that cloudy white smoke or whatever, and if you over smoke your meat, it's gonna have a bitter flavor, and that's not what
okay,
you want.
okay. So now I'm saying I'm learning here. I'm learning
Yeah.
myself. That's the reason why we're having this. So with the dirty smoke, 9 times out of 10, it can probably come from the initial start when you first get the woods going and you put it on there and got coal off and where you what so what's your so that's the is that the cause and it best to just go ahead and release it and just let everything come. So how can we? My question to you then is, how can we avoid dirty smoke, and how the best way to maintain the smoke that we need?
Oxygen is very important. So when you're, and also making sure that the, like if you're using chunks or wood splits, you
Yes.
want to make sure that they're warm. Like say you have an offset smoker, um, you'll see sometimes when people have offsets, they have like the piles of wood on top of the actual firebox.
Yes. Yes.
What that does is it warms up the wood. And
Okay.
so when the wood is warmer and you put it on there, it catches faster and you don't have to worry about that dirty smoke situation. Once it catches, it's running clean. Now, if you're doing with a piece of cold wood, it's sitting there trying to start and trying to ignite and it's just fighting through. And so you want to make sure you have a good airflow so that you can get some clean smoke. Now, if you don't have good airflow, then that's going to kind of, it's like the wood is kind of fighting to stay lit. So that's when you get like that smoldering smoke or whatever. But you want a nice clean smoke. And I say once it starts running, if you have that kind of cloudy smoke, just let it run a little bit and it'll start clearing out.
Okay. Good. That's a good intake right there. And I need to do that because let me say it like this. Reason why, because I'm my plan is to do more smoking and more grilling of the foods and my upcoming just things I'm trying to do in life. And I figured that's a much easier way if I do, even with vegetables, even with the certain meats I want to eat and stuff. I figured that'd be a better way to eat than actually trying to fry or use a lot of grease and something like that. I think, like you said, if you cook just right, if you smoke just right, it give it just another level of flavor,
Yeah.
something unique that is it's a little bit different and that the body wants. It's like once you
Yeah.
eat that, you feel satisfied. I used to wear satisfied. Once you eat a piece of good smoke, and I say good, I don't use the word good, good smoked meat, then everything, then you just feel satisfied. You feel like you can complete,
Yeah.
like, you know what? This is something different. So yeah, so I love the way you did. And I want to go back to Brian for a second. So you're talking about the importance of Brian. Now, do you prefer? I know you said it probably said dependent, but what's the biggest thing in between the wet and dry? And what for the turkey standpoint, what do you prefer?
That's a good question. Um, I prefer dry when it comes to brining, but if I can, um, I'll marinate, man. Like I really I really like to marinate stuff. Like that's my preference. Like if I can marinate something overnight, oh man, I'm a happy camper. If I don't have overnight, if I can marinate something two 2 hours at least, I'm still good. That's why I fell in love with the grill mates, the marinades, because what they tell you on the pack is pretty much 15-30 minutes for a marinade. So if you put more time on a suggestion, the flavor really gets through and through. And so if I can marinate, I'll marinate. But I like a dry brine. I like a dry brine because when you season something like a turkey, some people just dry brine. They do just salt, and when you do it overnight, that salt absorbs into the meat, and you're pretty much straight. You don't want to, and I can't stress this enough. Like you don't want to over season your turkey, and you don't want to under season your turkey. Another suggestion is to spatchcock the turkey if you're going to put it on the grill or smoker,
Explain
and
that.
spatchcock it. So that's when you cut the turkey. I like the back meat of the turkey and chicken. So they always say that I do a reverse spatchcock because I always cut down the breasts and then open it up. But
Ooh.
traditionally, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to cut from the back and cut the backbone out and then
Oh.
flip it over and then press down on the breast to open it up. And that layers it out and gives you more of an even cook.
Okay. I
Yeah.
did not know that. But you do it
Yeah.
the reverse way. Now I got the logic behind it now. Oh wow. Okay.
And
You say you
then,
like the bad meat.
yeah, sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut on the side of the backbone and then do it that way. That way, that back meat is still there. But
Okay.
that's just my personal preference. Everybody else, they'll cut out the back and then use it for something else. But I like the back meat. So it's always going to be, and even the times that I've cut up a whole bird like a turkey or chicken, you'll see like that back meat along with the pieces on the grill.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not saving that to make any type of stock or anything like that. That's getting grilled too.
Nothing go to waste. Nothing
Yeah.
go to waste. It was a saying on this movie. I forgot it said, "Oh yeah, as Jurassic Park, spare no expense. You spare no
Yeah.
expense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything."
Yeah. But
All right.
you'll get a more even cooking. You'll cut your cooking time down if you spatchcock it.
Okay.
If you do it the
Okay.
traditional way, of course, it's going to take a long time, and then you still have to worry about another thing that you have to worry about if you're doing the turkey whole on a smoker or on a grill that you turn to a smoker is your height clearance.
Okay.
Are you going to have enough room from your lid to your grates? I've seen some people even take the top grate off. Like, say you have a Weber kettle or something like that. Some people take the top grate off or put it in the pan and put the coals around it. That way they can have that clearance. That's another thing that works. But if you have the space and you can spatchcock it, it just makes it so much easier because again, you're trying to make sure that it's done, but also trying to make sure that it's not overcooked where the breast dries out. There's something that I saw that I want to try, and I might try it this time. I don't know, but I saw a suggestion of a cheesecloth,
Okay. Okay.
like
Okay.
wetting the cheesecloth and putting it over the top and just cooking it most of the time with cheesecloth on there to keep it juicy, and then near the last couple of minutes taking it off so the skin can get crisp.
Will it take away from the smoke though? Will it take away from the smoke effect?
It shouldn't because it's wet. That's a good
Okay.
question. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna let you know it shouldn't, in theory, because it's wet, and
Okay.
moisture attracts smoke, so it shouldn't. But
Okay. Actually, and maybe enhance it, and maybe it will
it
enhance.
might,
Okay. Then
yeah,
you.
because
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Because.
and another thing that you want to do is when you crank that temperature up to like 350 somewhere
Mhm.
around there, you don't want to because the heat grows across the top. So you want to be mindful and make sure that you're not overcooking the top where it's burnt. And so
Okay.
in some cases you might have to do like a little piece of foil and kind of tint over it to kind of keep that from browning too fast. Because that's
Mm.
also something you have to worry about when you're grilling well smoking whole pieces of chicken or turkey. You want to make sure that you are you don't want to keep opening your pit up and looking at it, but you do want to be mindful of the temperatures and make sure that you're not burning. And even the wings, say you're doing whole, you want to tuck the tips of the wings under, because if
Hmm.
you have them up, um those could cook a little faster and burn you. I know you've seen like the little tips of the bird is kind of crisp
Indeed. Indeed. Yes.
because they were up, and you probably should have covered it with some foil just to make
Okay.
sure that it didn't over brown.
Okay. Now y'all guys know this. Y'all getting the bases right now, so I hope you'll get your notepads full because the T is dropping 24 karat gold bars indeed. Come on now. All right, so what we're gonna do is we got a question for the audience, and I want y'all guys to hit the comments on this. And this was the question: what's your biggest fear when it comes to smoking turkey for the first time? Drop it in the comments. Drop in the comments. What is your biggest fear when it comes to smoking a turkey for the first time? All right, hit the comment, Phil. I know you don't have that fear because you know what I'm saying you've been smoking for a minute.
I'm gonna tell you it. No, man, you never should get that comfortable to where you're not, anticipating something. And like I said, the biggest fear would just be over drying, overdoing the breast. Um, I got the smoke thing down, and also, when you're selecting woods, you want to make sure that you get the wood that's going to complement what you're trying to do. Like you have different types of wood, like oak, post oak, pecan. I like pecan wood. It's more of a sweeter smoke flavor.
Okay,
Mesquite is very strong.
he
So
is. I done mesquite before.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like it, but if you're doing it for a whole bunch of people, you might want to check with them first to see if they like that flavor. And then you have hickory, which is traditional. Hickory gives a nice smoke. And don't be afraid to like do like a smoke wood blend. I
Okay.
had this all-star blend of wood chips and I can't find it anymore. It had cherry, hickory,
Mm,
and oak. And brother,
mm.
when I tell you that combination, whew,
He said it was a secret garden. There's a secret garden right
what?
there. You're in the garden. Woo, we got my mouth watering, my mind racing, thinking about some smoked turkey right now, brother. Ooh, all right. So what we're gonna do is, while my mind's still on the first segment, we're gonna go to segment number two. And segment number two is I'm gonna talk about this right here. So we got the basis. So we're gonna talk about now is beyond the bird. Turkey parts mastery. So what we're gonna ask you is why smoking parts versus whole turkey can be advantage. And you actually
Oh,
kind of said it, but but
yeah.
smoking part compared to doing a whole turkey, what's the advantage?
Well, if you're doing like it's easier, like, because your main thing with like wings,
Mm-hmm.
unless you want your wings really crisp, your process is going to be different, right? So what you can do with like wings or even the legs, you can even put them over the coals to get a little charring on it. Um, Take them off, let them smoke. But then when they're close to done, or even when they're done, you could put them in a pan with some chicken stock, or even some, I don't know, vegetable stock or something, or even some water and apple cider vinegar or anything you want in there. I like to put some onions in there, some peppers, put them in there, cover it up, and then when you do that, it's it's going to give you, it's going to make it more tender. So it's kind of like braising. I don't consider it braising because it's not actually everything submerged in there. But with the liquid at the bottom and the moisture, it's going to make it tender. So if you do that, like when you go to certain places, some, how the fair has this big turkey leg, it might not necessarily be tender, but if you wrap it, once you get that color on there and you wrap it and you put some moisture in there, it's going to be really tender. I'm talking about fall off the bone tender.
Ooh, come on now.
And so that's why I like to do when it comes to pieces. Like you get to do a bunch at one time, and then you can put it in there and make them all tender, and they still have that color.
Mm.
But see,
Come
with a
on
whole
now.
turkey, you just, it seems like it's just more with a whole turkey, because you want that breast part is the showpiece, right? And so you want that to look good. You want that to be crisp. And when you cover, that up, it's going to lose its crispness and it's going to be kind of rubbery. But when it comes to the dark meat, when you cover that up, it's still going to have a nice bite to it. It's not going to be rubbery, but you still have that smoke flavor and it's going to be really tender. So that's why when it comes to like doing different parts of the turkey, it's just simpler. I mean, and then you can feed more people. Now it might cost a little more because whole turkeys be kind of cheap around Thanksgiving, and if you're getting turkey legs and wings or some turkey necks are pretty inexpensive. But yeah, man.
Oh man, man, me my mouth water, man. And right, now you hit two things. You talk about the price standpoint. You're right. If you get it individually, it's gonna cost more than trying to do the whole. But I can see the advantage of just doing it as a part because you can have more control and almost guarantee that that smoke will hit the smoke and everything will hit them parts and nothing's not I would call covered. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right. So with that being said, we're going. This is the part I like to talk about. It's the special since we're talking about parts. All right. What are the specific techniques will you use for wings, legs, and breasts?
With the breasts, pretty much going to try to marinate it. I've never brined the breast before. I've marinated before. Find a good marinade and then slow cooking it for until the temperature gets about maybe 120-ish. But when it starts getting a nice color on it, and then I'll kick the temperature up some more, kick it up the heat some more to about 350 to really get that nice and crisp. Still monitoring the temperature, making sure that I don't overdo it and that it's not dried out. When it
Mm,
comes to like the legs or whatever, like I said, I just grill them up, try to get a little smoke on them. I like to kind of put them over the coals, get a little charring, get a little flavor from the charcoal, and then move them over to the indirect side and get some wood chips on there, maybe some chunks, and just let that smoke get in there. Then I'll put them in the pan and put a little chicken stock in there at the bottom and some onions,
mm,
and just let that that steam up in there and make them tender.
Ooh, 24 karat gold bars. I'm gonna be watching my own replay. I can't get down fast enough. We gotta keep going with the show, but that's some good techniques right there. I didn't think of it like that. Okay, fam, we're gonna take a quick interlude. I have a sponsor. He got a message for you, so definitely check it out.
My name is Anthony D. Shannon Sr., International Certified Leader, speaker, trainer, and coach, certified by John Maxwell and Samuel Chad. I am also the founder of Leaders Live Generously Academy, an Anthony D. Shannon consulting group, the #1 platform to help you overcome past failures, release your self-doubt, and shatter fears. You will reach your maximum potential and achieve high results in your life and your business. You see, my mission is to help you become the best you that you can be. With over 25 years of corporate experience, from sales positions to district vice president and even vice president positions with sales companies. I have been responsible for overseeing the success of training departments with over 3,000 employees. I've had the opportunity to create and deliver world-class, award-winning presentations on global stages and corporate platforms across North America. You see, my passion in life is growing and equipping others to do remarkable things and lead significant and fulfilled lives by overcoming and winning. You know, there's no greater mission for me, period. My motto is, everyone has a purpose. So you need to find your purpose and start living your life. That's why I've dedicated my life to teach and encourage people to win. You see, what separates me from the competition? I'll be flat out. It's honesty, it's integrity, it's relevance, it's passion, and it's care. We get results. I always say to live is to grow, and to grow is to change. And change is necessary for sustained success. You know, no matter the business you have, a sports team, corporate, management, or self-employed, if you are ready to unlock your full potential and win in life while serving others at the highest level, I want you to go right now to Anthony D. Shannon Consultinggroup.com or LeadersLiveGenerouslyAcademy.com.
I'm telling you right now, they get results. I've seen it personally myself. That's why I am so happy they are a proud sponsor of the Wise Hour. So definitely check out Anthony D. Shannon Consulting Group. I'm telling you, you want a life changing? You want your life to change? If you feel stuck, you feel like you can't get to the next place, that consulting group is for you. So again, definitely check them out. And again, thank you for being a proud sponsor of the Wise Hour. All right, family, the interlude over. Now we're going back to the show. I'm telling you right now, 24 karat gold bars is dropped indeed. So that's very good. So with that being said, I got a question for you. How do you achieve the perfect smoke ring?
Man, your smoke rings are going to be more so in like, well, for me, and more so in like your beef. I've heard different things about smoke rings. Somebody say if your smoke ring is really large, that means you gave it too much smoke. Some people say it's just right, but it's just giving it that consistent smoke, that consistent clean smoke, and to get you a nice smoke ring. It doesn't do anything to the flavor. Personally, I don't see a difference. I've had some that, something that didn't have a smoke ring, and I could still taste a nice smoke flavor to it. We like to talk about like that's more like a vanity thing for some people to just say like I got a smoke ring, but it really to me it doesn't do anything for the flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's good to know. That's good to know because a whole lot of people say, "Man, it don't have the smoke ring." You watch the Food Network or some kind of channel. Say, "Oh, you gotta have that perfect smoke ring." So that was a point I want to know, but it doesn't do anything with the flavor.
Not
the
to
thing
me.
is,
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good to know. So with that being said, since we're talking about the smoke ring, the question coming in the hand right here is time to management tips for them different cuts of meat. So since we're not worried about the time as well, how do we? What's a good time management tips that we use for different cuts?
So for your smaller pieces, your time is going to be shorter, of course, because it's broken down. So it's just like the same with the oven. However long you do it in the oven, because normally you probably do something like what 350, 375. So if you're running your smoker or you're running your because poultry, turkey, and chicken, you can smoke at a higher temperature.
Okay.
When you're doing like beef and stuff like that, or like a large cut of meat, you want to smoke it low and slow, like 225 to 250. But when it comes to chicken, you can crank that up a little higher. Or turkey, you can crank that up a little higher to like 275. And like I said, then you kick up once you got like I'd say probably about an hour, hour and a half. And then, once your temperature starts getting close to doneness, you want to kick that up to make that skin crisp. So it's all
Hmm.
about just watching and making sure you don't want to overlook at it. But then if you're monitoring your temperatures, you'll kind of know like, okay, my smoker or my grill is running kind of hot. You may need to look at it because it could be
Okay.
browning quicker than you anticipated. I've had
Hmm.
that happen before. I was doing something and my temperature got up and away from me. And by the time I realized it and opened up the grill, I was like, man, if I was a couple of minutes later, this stuff would have been darker than this. But thankfully, and it was matter of fact, it was some turkey wings. But thankfully, I was going to cover them up and do like I told you with like the chicken
Hmm.
stock and the onions or whatever. And you don't even have to use chicken stock. You can use water, season up the water a little bit, not too much, and just onions or whatever, and cover it up like that.
Okay.
Some Worcestershire sauce in there with the water. Also, when you're smoking, it's nice to have a drip pan underneath your meat, your protein, or whatever you're doing. Have some water in there. That water is going to help regulate your temperatures. It's going to help keep it at a nice steady temperature, and also it's going to keep whatever you're cooking moist. It's going to introduce some moisture into the chamber, so that should help you as well.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right now, 24 karat gold bars indeed. All right. Family, I got a question for y'all. This is for the audience here. Which turkey part is your favorite to smoke? And what is your go-to wood choice? So hit the comments below. Let us know which turkey part is your favorite part to smoke, and what is your to go-to wood choice. You already heard what T said. So I'd like to hear from y'all guys. So hit the comments on that. All right, man. We're gonna go into this segment right here. It's called flavor optimization, and safety. So we're gonna go talk about flavor because you're a flavor man. So you say you like good flavors. All right. All right. So creating the signature rub and marinade. You already talked about it. So all right. So with that being said, I don't remember you gave me a breakdown when you do your marinade. What specific items do you put in your signature marinade?
The McCormick's one kind of varies. There's one that I use is a brown sugar bourbon one, and that uses apple cider vinegar,
Hmm.
water, and I think oil. I can't remember.
What type
And
of oil
then
do you know? Oh, can't even remember.
uh, probably olive oil.
Okay.
Um, I've used canola, but it's any oil you like. Uh, the apple cider vinegar gives it more of a flavor to it. You can use traditional vinegar, but use the apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar, something with some
Mm.
little sweetness to it. It'll help it out.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right
Yeah, because
now.
that
Y'all hear that?
vinegar helps to make the meat tender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so vinegar. Oh, okay, okay. Just, you just told. This is a side note, everybody. So this is a side note because my mother used vinegar a lot on her meat. She said, I didn't know it did that. She said it cut off the, I guess the fats or whatever it is. She said it's the better way to do the meats. So now I get understanding why she really does it. Okay, make the meat look tender and stuff.
Yeah, because back to my aunt, she told me to use some and a lot of people do this still, use some Italian dressing.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want
Mom
to
do
use
that.
Italian dressing because I mean I grew up on the Italian dressing wings or what have you. So I want to do something different. But yeah, I mean you can use Italian dressing for a marinade. That's perfectly fine. That's not my preference, but that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting yours. Put yours on the shelf, so we can go ahead and purchase some right now. We looking for a T-Dubb BBQ marinade. I just spoke it, so saying go ahead and receive it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, with that logo right there, put on that
Yeah.
on the come on, man, it'll be flying off the shelves. Come on now, 24 karat gold bars, indeed. All right, so we're gonna talk about this. All right, using the meat thermometer efficiently. How should we use the meat thermometer? We're talking about safety here, so should we use the meat thermometer?
Okay, so if you're doing a large cut of meat, like a turkey, of course, when you do the meat thermometer or the probe, you want to make sure you get in the center, as close to the center as possible. Make sure you're not hitting any bone to the center, so you can tell what that internal temperature is. There's also some. I have a one of the handheld probes, and I also have like one that I could put actually on the smoker. Because say you're doing a bunch of stuff and you don't want to be outside monitoring the temperature, you can put it on there and put it on the grate, and it'll tell you how what your grill is running at. And I have an app on the phone, like in case it gets too hot, you can have a setting where it alerts you when it's getting close to that. And then you can also, I have a two probe digital reader. And so I could also, if I want to, put the other probe inside the meat, and I have two temperatures going. So it'll let me know what temperature I'm running the grill or the smoker at. And it also tells me the internal temperature of whatever I'm cooking. And so
Hmm.
that's a efficient way if you're doing multiple things and you can't just be sitting there, sitting outside watching the grill or smoker. You can use that. It'll help, save time. Um,
Okay.
what you want to do is you want to just make sure that you're paying attention and you're not turning your back to the grill. And if you have something that may produce a lot of grease, like turkey, it's it's gonna be a lot of fat and stuff dripping or whatever. So you want to make sure you put like a drip pan underneath the meat, because once that grease touches those coals, you can start a fire. So you want to make
Okay.
sure you try to have a controlled area to where them drippings can fall without getting into the actual coals.
Ooh, yeah, and so you can start fire. How often, when you say start fire, is more of it that it gets to the point where it comes up and actually cooks the chicken and not too outrageous, or what's your thought
Yeah,
process with that?
it can. Yeah, depending on how much grease you have, it can run and just run rampant throughout the grill.
Okay.
Um, Burn up your food. You don't want that. Um, and if you open the lid, it could spread different places or whatever. But you want to make
Okay.
sure you're just monitoring, and like you can kind of tell if you get like, because you can, if you're outside, you can hear it like the sizzle, and you kind of know it's
Ooh.
happening. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then you can see the temperature kind of rising, and then you kind of know in the smell, you can smell it like
Ooh.
it's
Okay.
something different going on there. So you want to monitor that to make sure that it's not happening. But if you have like a drip pan or whatever, also the drip pan helps keep your grill cleaner. Like it helps you as far as cleanup. Because if you have all the drippings going in there, all you have to do is just ball that up and throw it in the trash.
Okay. Okay.
Some people
Wow.
use the drippings. Um, I've seen some people cut up vegetables and stuff and put it underneath,
Mm-hmm.
and so when it's smoking or grilling, that aroma is going up to the bird, and then the drippings are coming down. And then you can use that to make some dressing or stuffing with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's think of it like this, right? Like when you're out on using the grill or a smoker, it's like an oven, but you don't have as much control over the temperature as you do with an oven. Now, once you get that temperature set, and you keep those coals running, then you're good. And even if you have like a pellet grill or if you have like a gas grill, those work as well. But you want to just make sure you maintain your temperatures and that you're actually checking and making sure that you don't dry out that bird. You could also use a spritz gun to kind of spray it to make sure you're keeping some moisture in there, or whatever. But the main thing is you don't want to dry out that breast Do not dry it out. Please practice first because right now turkeys and turkey breasts are on sale. Get you one, practice before you try to do this in front of a big group of people and you fail. Just practice. Don't be afraid. I mean, if you mess up during practice, that's what it's for. And if it looks like you're running out of coals and stuff and it's not quite going the way you want it, don't be afraid to pull it in the house and finish it off in the oven. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But what's not fine is drying out that breast.
Indeed. You use my favorite word, practice. And I got a thought about practice. Here it
What
goes.
we talking about? Practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice.
We talk about practice, man. We talk about practice.
Hey man, I love AI.
Me too. Me too. I still love him today. Every time I see him go in there, man, he's there. And when he talk about Jordan, that's another conversation for another day. We're gonna have to do a sports segment. We'll have to bring it after we finish eating and stuff like that. We're gonna have to bring it in and have a sports segment and do a highlight.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving. There's gonna be a whole bunch of games on. So,
oh man,
football, basketball. Hey,
and then imagine that family. Imagine that having some smoked wings. You know what I'm saying? Smoked legs and smoked breasts. Don't dry them out now. Don't dry them out like T said. Don't dry them out. But imagine that and watching the game. Come on now. You only can imagine that, and it's just a week away, right? So you can go ahead but get your preparation this weekend, get your stuff together, and go ahead and try that. All right. So, all right, now I got a question for you before we head into the audience question. So my question is, what are some common mistakes and how to avoid them? Other than drying out the breast.
One I would say is if you're using charcoal, using too much.
Okay.
You have to remember the charcoal is what holds the heat. So the more charcoal you have, it's going to be the more heat you have. Depending on the size of your grill, if you don't have a really big grill, you don't want to use a whole bag of charcoal because your temperature is going to be too high, and now you have to wait till your temperatures go down. And let's say that's your only bag. Now, while the temperatures are going down, there's no way to bring the temperature back up or refuel or keep adding more charcoal to it because you're out. So make sure that you're not using too much charcoal. Don't use any lighter fluid. Because you have some people who use lighter fluid and they get so crazy with it, and especially when they're trying to refuel, that stuff gets on the meat and it just ruins the flavor of the food. So get you some, they have some tumbleweeds and different things like that. Or even if you soak a paper towel in like some cooking oil or whatever and light that up, that's a good way to light the charcoal. You can get a chimney starter, light your charcoal like that. And another mistake is don't cover your grates with aluminum foil. I know we talked about easy cleanup before, but that stuff just gets in the way. It sticks to the food. So they make different types of racks you can put on top of the actual rack in case you need to move stuff around. So maybe do that, but don't put any aluminum foil on your grates. It's just going to cause a mess. And that's a surefire way to have a grease fire. Because if you think about it, that grease and stuff doesn't have any way to go. It just sits there. And as soon as you move something, it just pours off to the side. That's where a lot of those grease fires come from. People covering the grate with aluminum foil, and then all of it just slides off into the coals, and then you have a big flare up.
Oh, gosh. Hey, 24 karat gold bars, indeed. We talking about safety.
Yeah. And get you some gloves, too. They make some thermal safe gloves that you may need them. When you're removing stuff, get you some decent tongs. Do not use a house spatula to remove stuff because that's a different type of heat than from the stove.
Okay.
Because if you use a house spatula, it's just gonna melt. You don't want that, so get you some nice tongs. Get you not the little small ones that you should really just be using to pick up onions or something. Get you a nice length so that your hand can be away from the fire, just in case some. You know what I'm saying? Just do
Yeah.
simple things like that. There's things that you would think that everybody knows, but like planning is important. Making sure you have everything you need and everything you need right there is important rather than trying to run and figure out or whatever. But you want to plan, especially when you're doing anything with live fire. You want to make sure that you're paying attention. Make sure you and if you do have a flare up or some sort of fire, whatever, close down your vents and close it down because, like I said, the fire needs oxygen. So once you shut off that oxygen source, the fire will be out. But don't go throwing water on the fire because if it's a grease fire, you're just going to spread that thing around. You can have a bigger problem.
Ooh, 24 karat gold ball drop. Indeed. I didn't think of it that way. So that's very good techniques. And it made logical sense how you explains it. So safety is key. Yeah, we want good food, we want good flavor. Some want the perfect smoke range. But at the end of the day, you want to be safe. You mentioned something about glove. I watched one of your episodes on your YouTube channel, and you had these specialty gloves that you actually were handling the meat with the gloves. What
Yeah,
what type of gloves were those?
those are Magna Chef gloves, and they have a little magnet clip on there where you can actually pull your hands out of it easy. And
Hmm.
I love those things because I did some lamb ribs, and I tried to. Of course, I didn't have it in the video. I tried to pick them up, and man, them things were hot. So I went in the house and I got some of the gloves, and I was like, "This is a good opportunity to showcase the gloves." So I got like a little clip in there where I, show how I pull them off. But those are Magna Chef gloves. They were designed by ex firefighter. Um,
Hmm.
I
Okay.
love those things, man. They protect your hands. You can use them to move charcoal around if you need to. Um,
Seriously?
yeah,
Charcoal?
yeah.
Even
They
when they're
they
red? Even when they're red? I ain't saying you
yeah.
had to keep your hand on them, but
No, now you
wow.
want to hold it,
No,
but you
no, no,
can
no.
move.
Yeah, you want
Yeah,
to
it
move around.
withstands high heat. So say you need to move around, you can move your charcoals around. You can move. I've seen um one of Black Smoke fellas outdoors with Jeff. He moved the whole log that was on fire and moved it out the way. So yeah,
Ooh.
because the guy who makes them, and I'm sorry I cannot remember his name right now. He used to be a firefighter, and so
Mhm.
his idea for making them was to have them like the gloves that they use, and so
Wow.
that's what he did. And yeah, they're very good with keeping heat away.
Okay. I gotta look into those. And like I said, I want to be more productive in the smoking arena. So yeah, equipment is a very good. You got to have your seasons, you got to have your marinades and stuff, but have the ability to have safety equipment and how you have the mindset to keep things safe after you enjoy this opportunity is very powerful as well.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, family, we got a question for you. This is the question. I want you to hit the comments on this. What's your secret recipe in your turkey rub? I know you want to give away. I know y'all want to share, so you got to share that with me. That make everyone ask for your recipe. No, trust me, we ain't tell nobody. Just put in the comments anyway. So, what's your secret ingredients that go into your turkey rub? Go ahead and share it there, fam. You know what I'm saying? At least give me a thumbs up. All right. Okay, with our last segment for the day, what we want to make sure, so we're talking about the holidays and we're talking about, Thanksgiving turkey secrets, smoking like a pro. And we got a pro right here. Got T from T-Dubb BBQ Pit Master himself, Terrence P. Elmore. So the last segment is dealing with tips, tricks, and troubleshooting. So the first part I'm going to ask you about is how to deal with the weather conditions. Since people
Ooh,
going to have different weather positions. You are in the South, so you're in the South Carolina area. I'm in the North Carolina area at the time of this recording, and you got people all over. So how do you deal with the weather conditions?
I'm glad you asked that. I didn't even think about that. If you're using charcoal or wood, you're going to need more fuel. Um, Pretty much make sure you have enough on hand, because you have to think about what you're actually fighting to do is actually keeping the grill warm as well as cook the food. So I personally grill and smoke all year round. You don't have that ambient heat like when it's hot outside. So you're going to use more fuel. And if it's windy, you want to pay attention, extra attention to your temperature, because if you get a nice gust of wind, that'll shoot your temperature up too.
Oh,
So pay attention to that. Be prepared to use more fuel. Pay attention to the wind blowing. It may spike up your temperature, but like you may end up cooking things longer. Just depends on how well you maintain your temperature, and this depends on how cold it is outside. So that's
okay.
something else to look out for too. And troubleshooting, like I said, if it seems like it's getting too difficult for you and you know this is what everybody is counting on, do not be afraid to remove it from the grill smoker and take it in the house and finish it. You probably have gotten enough smoke on it anyway, and just finish it off. But don't be afraid to just pivot into something else, and don't panic. That's why it's always good to have a direct heat side and an indirect heat side. Turkey is
Mm,
not something that I would cook like over direct coals unless you have like a lot of space in between. Like, say you have a vertical drum smoker,
okay.
that's perfectly fine because you're far away from the actual coals. And so it's cooking off the actual heat and not the flames. So that's cool. But if you got have a traditional grill, you want to have a direct side and an indirect side. You may want to put it over the direct side to get like a little charring on or whatever, but what you're going to do is put it on that indirect side, and you're going to let it
Mhm.
get cooked with the heat and the flavor from the smoke. Um, do not dry out that breast. Make sure you check it. Do not undercook the breast. That's another thing.
Uh,
Don't
yep.
be so afraid that you undercook it, because I'm gonna say this: it's better to have something overcooked than undercooked, because you don't want anybody getting sick.
True. Facts. 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 And with that being said, let me
Oh,
add this one. Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
I can't believe I forgot this. Whenever you pull off the turkey, but this is something that everybody should know and everybody probably doesn't, but whenever you're cooking a large piece of meat like a turkey and you pull it off the smoker or you pull it out of the oven, let it rest. That's
Ah,
another, because you could pull it at the right temperature, but you could cut into it too soon. So you want to let it rest 15, 20 minutes. Um, that way the juices redistribute throughout the meat. That's why you may have some people who you cut into the turkey and it's like, wow, that's nice and juicy. Then by the time you get to the other side, some people are saying that the turkey is dry, and some people that are saying that it isn't because you didn't let it rest. So that's with a turkey, a brisket, um, a roast, uh, a butt, anything. If you have a large piece of meat that you're cooking, let it rest. That rest time is very important. So with the turkey, I would say let it rest about, I would even say about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Let it rest. Let those juices redistribute. I know a lot of us like to get stuff when it's hot off the grill, but you need to let it rest. That's important.
okay. That's good to know because yes, most people like to get it straight off the grill
It's not fish.
or just
Yeah.
hot fish, you know what I'm
Hot fish
saying?
out the fryer. You know you got to get it out the
Gotta get it out of the grease when it is
Yeah,
sizzling.
yeah.
Sit in your mouth when it's sizzling.
Exactly.
But I have a I want to add this standpoint right here. Time saving prep tips. So do you have any time, let me get the word right. Time saving prep tips.
Do not wait until the day of. Get your stuff
Okay.
a couple of days in advance and make sure you have everything you need. Um, like I said, if you're trying to do a dry brine or marinade or even a wet brine, um, brining, it just depends on, like, if you buy a store bought brine, they'll tell you on the directions on um, how long do you have it in there or whatever. But you want to make sure you have enough time in between in case something goes wrong or if you need something, but make sure you have all your ingredients. Do not wait until the last minute. Because if you're missing something, the turkey is the star of the show. So you don't want to wait until the last minute to do anything. So make sure you have everything you need. Make sure you have enough time in between. So even doing it the day before and letting it rest and putting it in the refrigerator and then just warming it back up the next day, that's even cool. I've even known some people who've done the turkey a couple of days in advance, a week or so in advance, and put it in the freezer.
Ooh, whoa, okay.
Cut it up, put it in the freezer, and then take it out, put it in the refrigerator, and then just warmed it up in the oven. Can't tell the difference. It seemed like it just came out that day if you know what you're doing.
Okay.
But allow yourself some time and practice. Even if you don't want to practice with a whole turkey, you can practice with a whole chicken. Of course, there's a difference as far as like chicken and turkey, but it's kind of basically the same concept. So you pretty much know what you're working with, but get some practice in if you can. Even if you do like a half a turkey, a half a chicken, just get some practice in and just have fun and feel comfortable. Okay. Now, you know, let the people know, hey, this is my first time doing this. I want to try this. Y'all bear with me. We're gonna see how this thing goes, but don't try to act like you've been doing this all your life and then everybody's so excited and then it comes time to taste it and it's just something is off. So make sure you have everything you need. Make sure you allow yourself enough time for things to cook, enough time for things to rest. When you buy a turkey, I forgot what it is, how many hours per pound, but you can pretty much Google that to kind of get a guesstimation on how long it's going to take you. But allow yourself enough time. That's the main thing. Make sure you have everything you need, all your seasonings, your herbs, your rubs, if you need butter, pans, if you need certain pans, aluminum foil. Make sure you have enough foil. Make sure you have everything you need beforehand, and don't try to go to the store the day before. Try to get that stuff. Get that stuff today. Today to
Do
make sure,
not procrastinate.
because you know people gonna buy that stuff up, and now you're looking for it. Now you're running from store to store, and that's time you're cutting out of your prep time.
Facts. That's
Oh,
facts.
another main thing.
Come on now.
Turkeys take a long time to thaw out. A long time.
Ooh.
So you want to start thawing that turkey out a couple of days ahead of time in the refrigerator. Especially if
You hear
you got
that?
a deep freezer. Don't try to pull something out of deep freezer and think it's gonna be thawed out the next day.
You're talking about not no cooking the breast. You're talking about not having the breast done.
Right.
Oh.
And if we didn't talk about fried turkey, but if you're speaking of thawing out, if you're frying a turkey, make sure that it's thawed out and there's no ice inside of the turkey, because there are too many explosions happening when people deep fry a turkey and that ice is in the middle. Once you drop that in that hot oil, it explodes. So if you're frying a turkey, make sure that thing is thoroughly thawed out and there's no ice on the inside.
Okay. Yeah, right now he add your bonus. That's the bonus one right there with fried turkeys. So make sure that ice is gone. Make sure no water, anything like that. So, wow, bro. I got one more. I got one more to ask you. Then we're gonna wrap up the show. All right. Now we had the festivities. We had fun. We ate our smoked wings, legs, and breasts, and all that above. What about leftovers? Any leftover smoking ideas?
Um, I would say if you have some leftovers, man, you can make you a nice turkey salad,
Ooh,
smoked
man.
turkey salad, man.
Ooh,
That's
man.
that's some good stuff, man. Um, a couple of slices for some sandwiches. That's better than getting like the deli meat from the store. You have your own, just freshly sliced, whatever pieces left, make yourself a nice sandwich. Or if you did have some juice or stuff left over from your dripping pan and you kind of kept that, because that's another thing. you should try to do is if you have drippings, try to keep them that way. You can kind of dip when you slice the breast, dip them in there to kind of keep it moist. But if you have a lot of juice left over in that pan, get some of them onions or whatever and put it on top of some grits.
Come on now. Come on now. Ooh, mess me up, man. I'm getting hungry, man. I'm gonna go ahead and what I'm saying. I'm about to make the bump the trip to up north. I'm about to go down to the south. You got a brother here hungry right now. Oh man. Oh man. Ooh, gosh. All right, brother. All right, man. And let me ask this one question to the audience here. I got a question for y'all guys. All right. What is the most creative way you have used smoked turkey leftovers? Share in the comments below. What is the most creative way you have used smoked turkey as leftover? He gave some good idea. That doggone turkey salad, boy, is calling my name because oh my God.
Put on some bread, or you can put it on some crackers. Ooh. You can eat it straight up.
Man. That's I'm just thankful that you one of my brothers and friends.
Yes.
So you know what I'm saying? So I am so thankful that you are in my, in my community. You know what I'm saying? So man, we owe you the pleasure and the honor to thank you for sharing this. A lot of people had to, pay top dollar, which they should, for this information, and you gave it gracefully. And these things right here will definitely help people with their journey and definitely do something different for the holidays.
Yeah.
Go ahead, don't do it the traditional way. Add some smoke flavor to it. Just don't dry out the breast.
Don't dry it out.
Yeah, dry the breast.
Or undercook it.
Undercook it.
I know that's a lot of pressure, but hey.
And also, y'all must practice. Make sure
we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice.
We talking about practice, and make sure you practice where you have opportunity to as well. All right, T. How can people find you in T-Dubb BBQ?
You can find me on YouTube. That's T-Dubb BBQ on YouTube. So it's at T-Dubb BBQ on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok is at T-Dubb.BBQ on those other platforms.
Awesome. And definitely need to tune in. Go to his channel and follow him on Instagram. Go ahead and leave him a comment. Hit him in the DMs. He'll definitely drop you 24 karat gold bars indeed. And I appreciate you, bro. And this ain't the first and definitely the last time you want to hear, because you are special when it comes to definitely smoking meat for his barbecue, grilling, anything above. You're the expert here. And like I said, we here to bring people life solutions. And this is one of the solutions. How can they enjoy good food? Because in the title of, you go to your YouTube page where it says this, food is your love language. You know what I'm saying? So we can wrap up with that. Why do you say food is your love language?
Man, because it's food is universal, man. And I think that, when I think about food, I think about how it brings people together, especially barbecue. It brings people together from all different walks of life. And just sharing a meal with somebody, or even cooking a meal with somebody, it says a lot. So that's why I say food is my love language. Whether I'm cooking food or eating food, I'm having a good time.
I know that's right. Same here, brother. Now, like I said, I'm gonna send my application today, cause for the taste test of the position. You know what I'm saying? So you need to make sure. We want to make sure that meat stay prime. That top level, top tier. And I think I got the insight for that. All right, brother. We appreciate you, man. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Wise Hour. Well, we take life's situations and life challenges and come up with solutions for everybody. So I want y'all guys to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And you know what I'm going to say? Love is an action word. While you're taking the time to love yourself, make sure you show love to someone else. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and we thank you. You know, normally I do this by myself, but I'm with him, my brother, so I'm gonna keep on having a conversation with him because I got to do some more deep diving. But if you want some more deep dives, hit the comments and say you want to ask your question. What you like to him to talk about next, as far as dealing with grilling and smoking and anything dealing with food related stuff. So hit the comments and know. I want to ask my questions. I want y'all guys to ask yours. So until then, family, we see you next time. Take care and peace.
Every day we walk this road, a labyrinth of paths untold, searching for our place and road, finding strength down in our soul. Challenges we face head on, through the night until the dawn. Gonna keep on holding strong in this dance where we belong. Manhood's journey we pursue, finding out what's really true. Through the highs and through the lows, every day our courage grows. In the mirror see the test, gotta give it all our best, In this life that we've been blessed, heartbeats pounding in our chest. Step by step and hand in hand, growing wiser where we stand. In this labyrinth of men, we'll create our own grand plan. Breaking chains and breaking through. In this maze we find our view. Each new day a challenge met. Manhood steps we won't forget. Breaking chains and breaking through. In this maze we find our view. Each